Well, good morning, everyone, and welcome back. We are working our way through the Gospel of Matthew. We've made it to the fourth chapter. We're going to look at verses 1 through 11 today in our series of daily devotions. This devotion I'm preparing for Thursday, February 17th of 2022. About a month to go, and then we will have been doing these for 2 years, these devotions. So let's jump into Matthew's Gospel and look at chapter 4, verses 1 to 11. Jesus has just gotten done being baptized, and now he's going into the wilderness. So let's jump in. Then Jesus was led by the Spirit into the wilderness to be tempted by the devil. He fasted 40 days and 40 nights, and afterwards he was famished. The tempter came and said to him, "If you are the Son of God, command these stones to become loaves of bread." But he answered, "It is written, one does not live by bread alone, but by every word that comes from the mouth of God." Then the devil took him to the holy city and placed him on the pinnacle of the temple, saying to him, "If you are the Son of God, throw yourself down, for it is written, He will command His angels concerning you, and on their hands they will bear you up, so that you will not dash your foot against a stone." Jesus said to him, "Again it is written, do not put the Lord your God to the test." Again the devil took him to a very high mountain and showed him all the kingdoms of the world and their splendor. And he said to him, "All these I will give you, if you will fall down and worship me." Jesus said to him, "Away with you, Satan, for it is written, worship the Lord your God and serve only him." Then the devil left him, and suddenly angels came and waited on him. Okay, first of all, we'll jump in here with the turning the stones, the inedible product into to bread, the sustenance of life. We look at that, and we do not live by bread alone, earthly sustenance. Um, One of the commentaries I've read about this talked about this being Jesus being tempted by a pleasure here. Eating is a pleasure. Well, eating is a pleasure for beyond the point of eating to survive. After you've been out 40 days fasting, whatever mechanism or whatever means that fasting is, it involved denying oneself at least a significant amount of food because he's famished. That means you're very, very hungry. That means you're past the point of being just hungry. You're famished. We tend to throw that word around a little lightly. But here he is offering, saying to Jesus, turn these stones into bread in order to feed your earthly body. It's not about pleasure, it's about survival, physical survival. But Jesus says to him, one does not live by bread alone, earthly bread that feeds your body, but by every word that comes from the mouth of God. Food that feeds your spirit. He is the bread of life. Jesus is the food of your spirit. We eat the bread in the communion to represent the spirit, all right, of God. He is the bread of life. His word is what gives us strength. Is what gives us spiritual strength, maintenance of our spirit. So here he's saying, what good would it do me to inherit the kingdoms of earth, but to lose my soul? And that kind of carries on throughout this whole thing of these temptations, to be honest. But here, I'm not going to eat food and know that by taking that food, I've lost my connection with God. I want to maintain that connection with God. That's what communion is about again. The devil taking him to the pinnacle of the temple and saying to him, "If you're the Son of God, throw yourself down." Tempt him to tempt. Nothing can happen to you. You're the Son of God, so throw yourself down. Let's see what happens. Just for giggles, as they say, just to see what happens. And Jesus just says, "No, this is not a trivial thing. It's not something we do idly. This is real stuff. You don't put God to the test in a flippant fashion." If Satan would have grabbed him and thrown him down, now the angels would have grabbed him. But for him to jump down just Satan saying, "Hey, let's just see what happens." That's not right. Jesus does not tempt God, even though he has been identified as the Son of God. Satan has identified him as being divine right there in verse 6. So in 8, he takes him to the high mountain, shows him all the plains of the earth, all the pleasures of the earth, all of the riches of the earth. All this I'll give you if you just fall down and worship me. Here, this applies to us. What good does it do us if we again inherit all of the things of the world, but we've lost our soul? Here, what good does it do us if we are doing what we're supposed to be, making our living here in this world by such a fashion that we honor God? We're not honoring God if we're causing harm, are we, to others? We're not honoring God if we're doing something that we know that we're going to get wealthy, but it's but it's working against God. It's working against God's desires for the world, what God wants for this world, and that's the one thing. That's for us to be united. I see a lot of that out there now. People are doing things that are actually dividing the world, and God's gonna say, hey, what was up with that? When we walk before Him at the throne of God, worship the Lord your God and serve Him only. Serve only Him. That's what we're supposed to do. No matter how we're making our lives, our living, our livelihood, how we're paying our bills and buying that food that maintains this physical body, we're supposed to be serving God and feeding our spiritual body at the same time. We are to serve only God. We don't worship money. That's why the root of all evil is money, because it might drive us to do, not that money is evil, but that because in the pursuit of it, we might do things that are counter to what God wants and to what God is striving to do. Anytime you find yourself causing harm to others, especially if you're doing it in a means where it's just trying to enrich yourself, that's the most evil thing you can do. And unfortunately, I think that we see that in the world today. We see that in the world throughout history. So that's what I see in these 11 verses. Satan has left him because he has passed these temptations. These temptations, just he brushes them off fairly effortlessly. And the moral of the story is, if we cling to God, if we hold to God, we too can brush away those temptations, because trust me, they are going to come. You're going to have the physical, spiritual, you name it, temptations thrown at you every day. In fact, if you're not, then you must be staying in a hole somewhere. Not sure how you can be out and about and not have some temptation that's thrown up on you. There's all kinds of it in this modern world, more than when I was a child. I don't know how young people are going to make it through with all of the craziness that's thrown at them on the internet. But that's another topic for another day. We will leave you there, and we will pick up with Jesus beginning his ministry in Galilee tomorrow. All right? Have a blessed day, and please, please, please be a blessing to someone today. If you enjoy our devotions, please like and subscribe and share them. We'd love to have you share them with friends. God bless, and see you later.